Hi, this is Team 4. My name is Mark. I'm working with Cameron and Justin. We've done research, and from our research we found that identity is a crucial element for kids in this age group. They're forming their identity, but each group does it differently. We found that girls form their identity mostly through their connections with their friends, and boys form their identity based on what they can do, how well they can do it, and it's a skill and performance sort of thing. We've also found that secret keeping is important for these kids and that they don't want to put everything out there. Their friendships and their alliances are something that they're learning how to do, and so there's a lot of code and secrecy. Those are three of our main points, and actually our fourth point is that kids in this age group are very physical. They like technology, but what they really like to do is skateboard, play tag, be outside, and we think that has to do with the biological development of that age group. They're just physical people.
So one of our concepts is an update on the old idea of a friendship bracelet, and this one's targeted at the girls in the age group who are particularly concerned with friendships and this notion of belonging. And so this would allow them to interact both with their best friend as well as their larger community of friends, and that their community of friends would be represented by dots scattered on an e-ink surface around the band, and depending on where those dots are clustered, the person wearing the bracelet can see whether they are the center of attention or where people have congregated and whether they need to make their way over there. And then in the central panel, there's a glowing light that utilizes some kind of proximity technology, possibly RF, as well as a biometric sensing feature on the back to tie into the pulse of the best friend to whom the bracelet is linked. So the pulse glows in time with their pulse, so you can see when they're excited, when they're nervous, when they're bored. And then as you get closer to them, the pulse will go brighter. So if you're walking hand in hand, then your wrists will both be blazing.
So this is concept number 2. It is also a friendship bracelet. The idea is that you have a sheet of paper. It's covered with e-ink. On the back are biometric sensors that can sense your heart rate, your temperature, other things that are going on for you electrically. And what this e-ink does is it creates it displays a pattern based on these algorithms that are going through your body. You take this sheet, rip a piece off, put it on your wrist, and the sensors in the paper create a pattern for you. You take this friendship bracelet off, you give it to a friend, they put it on their wrist, and the sensors actually measure their biodata, and then the computer makes an image on the bracelet to represent that, and they have now a complete friendship bracelet. So the image on it is from half of one person and from half of the other. This would come in a sheet of 10, and then these would just be ripped off. This is concept number 3. We call it body dots. The idea is that you have a mobile device, a phone perhaps, or a standalone device, and you have some dots. These are large dots so that you can see them. In actuality, they would be very small, possibly even woven into a special shirt, special clothing. The idea is that boys form their identity based on what they do, and so we create avatars for them. Facebook in the future may have an application where it has a model of you as a person, and all you have to do is plug in the movements that your body does into this avatar, and then people can watch what you're doing online. So it's a way to share your amazing skateboard tricks, surfing moves, biking prowess, this sort of thing. The idea is that you take the dots and you put them where you have joints, and then your device maybe sits on your belt and it knows where all of these dots are. You do your sport or your move or your trick, and this device records the location of those dots, communicates to the computer, and your avatar on Facebook or online is now moving for people who couldn't be there to see the original. Our last concept has to do with boys and the way they form identity. From our research, we found out that boys form their identity based on how fast they can run, how well they can play football, how much weight they can lift, how high they can jump. And so we wanted to use accelerometers, weight capture devices, these sort of sensors, in order to show that to people who did not see the original event. So one form that this technology could take is in the form of a shoe. In the form of a shoe, we have this part, which could possibly have LEDs embedded in it. It's currently available technology. Maybe it looks something like this. In here, we would have these sensors that measure speed or that measure impact or other sort of things that kids do. And the idea is that the lights are hooked to the sensors in such a way that if it was acceleration and this person ran incredibly fast, the LEDs would start to glow a little bit more brightly and then very brightly to show the speed. The way that this would work in a scenario is that, we'll say a 16-year-old is in the high school track team, and then he has evening class for a special event, and he's very proud of his physical ability to run. So at practice, he's running very fast. His sensors are displaying how fast he runs. In the beginning, he doesn't run fast at all. They're white. As he starts running faster and faster, it produces a unique pattern on his shoe. And as he reaches his top speed, his shoes glow brightly. The thing that he wants to do after practice is over is communicate to his friends how good he feels about his physical performance. So the idea is that he comes to class, whatever that is, and he's wearing these shoes and that they are still glowing. So his friends can understand that that means speed, and in that way he gains respect and feels good about himself.